from his studios in New York, it's time for Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Here's your host, Dan Tortora.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And on MixLR, which stands for mixliveradio.com/wakeupcalldt. You can become a member. It is free, and it's easy to do. All you have to do is follow us on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Once you do that, you will be connected with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You can chat with us in the live chat room, and you'll be emailed every single time the show goes live, so you never miss a broadcast again. And it's super easy to listen to on all of your devices. It's available everywhere in the world, and I cannot thank you all enough for listening. Here on the show for the first time ever, not the first time I've gotten to speak with her, and it's funny because she has that personality that I would imagine is that, well, at least my experience of it, is it's that type of personality where you walk into a room, you don't know anybody, you're uncomfortable, you sit next to her, she makes you laugh, and all of a sudden, it opens up the room. It's that type of personality, and that's why I'm happy to have her on the broadcast. Kerrie Brown is with us. Marywood Pacers women's lacrosse head coach is here with us. She's in her first season with the team, and you know it's just it's a great day to be around good people, and that's what it's all about. So, Kerrie, how are we doing today?
Thanks so much for having me. No, it's great. It's great to be on the show, and I'm excited for what the future brings.
Absolutely, and to speak on what you've had right off the bat, right out of the gate, your first game as a head coach at Marywood, you were on the road at Farmingdale State College. You got the victory, 11-6. Just what that meant to you, that the first time you stepped out as the face of Marywood women's lacrosse, you got a victory.
Yeah, it was actually unbelievable. Ironically, it was after my grandmother, my mother's 90th birthday was the day before, so my whole family was on Long Island, and it was her mother who had passed last year, so they celebrated her first birthday without her. And my father's mother had never seen a lacrosse game, and she was able to come, and Farmingdale State made it great. The girls played unbelievable. I mean, they played out of their minds. They were just so spot on. My whole family was there, so to have my Marywood family starting and have my family supporting, I couldn't have asked for a better day to start my head coaching career on.
And when you have a moment like that, I mean, just what that does for you, because life is crazy and things go up and down and around the corner. But when that's the first step that you take with Marywood, just that's something that'll be there forever.
Yes, yeah, it was a great starting point. The girls were so proud, and they're so proud of the program, and they were just elated for me, and it was a good starting point. It was so fun to feel welcomed and to have that after 5 weeks of preseason. You get to a game. I have a lot of nerves that day. They have a lot of nerves. And to just settle it all out and get on the field and play, it was spectacular. So it was a great day, and it was a good feeling. It was nice all the way around.
Speaking here with Kerrie Brown, the new head coach of Marywood girls lacrosse, Marywood women's lacrosse, just what you can say about how these young women have responded to you coming in and being their head coach, just what that atmosphere has been like.
Oh, they're super hardworking, and they're just the nicest group of young women. And they just want to learn. They want to get better every day. They come to practice. Practices are obviously different with a new coach. And they just have responded immensely and compete day in and day out. It's just a great place to be. Them always wanting to get better, and to say about them as people, they're just the nicest group of young women. It's so I don't even have to manage that. It's just they're just nice day in and day out, and then they come and they get in between the lines and they compete hard, and they want to fight as a unit. It's something special. It's something special, and I'm very, very fortunate to be a part of it.
And to move forward here, I mean, the season for you, I mean, the team doesn't is not losing multiple games in a row by any stretch of the imagination in your first season with women's lacrosse. It's gone back and forth. If you win and then there's a loss and then there's a win right away. Just what you could say about the back and forth start to the season, 2-2 at home, 2-2 on the road, just what your takeaways have been.
So I would like the consistency to be more in our favor. We've spoke on that with the girls. And, that sports is a game of runs, and we need to limit other teams' runs, and we need to go on more runs. And we spoke on it yesterday, that we're in games and we're competing in games, and to just have a quick lapse, we can't have those. And so they've really responded with that, and they come back the next day harder than ever, and they're willing to watch film, and they're willing to do all the little things so that we haven't had that, steady decline, or, we're just kind of trying to stay middle of the road. But, a couple balls bounce a little different here and there, and we settle in a little bit, better, we're going to win games. And the girls are getting that, and I think they're getting more comfortable with that, looking forward to the future. So they understand what it takes. They know what it is and the feeling. So, I'm excited to see the rest of the season play out. I'm very excited to get into conference play in a new conference this year and just fight, for every game and every minute. So that's what we're looking forward to at this point.
That coming from Kerrie Brown, the head coach of Marywood Pacers women's lacrosse. And Kerrie, for you, just what it's been like to be in the athletic department at Marywood and to be around some of these other coaches, just what you could say about the personalities in the building, so to speak.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, new coaches, and we're all fighting for the same goal. There's a lot of pride in Marywood. For the alumni, and it's fun to come in with, a lot of new energy and all these different things in a time of, Marywood changing and growing. So it's been fun. Everybody's super great. Awesome people on campus, very, very friendly community. So I couldn't have landed in a better place. To start my head coaching career, it's, they give me the opportunity to grow every day. They want us to be better. And just the community is there's a lot of pride in this community, and it's fun to be around. It's a good feeling when you walk into the office every day. People's doors are open. They're saying hello. That's a great feeling, in an athletic staff.
What can you say, since he's coming up in a little bit, and I always like to go back and forth with him, and he always knows he's on the hot seat even when he is not even on the show. What do you think about Enrico Mastriani?
Well, he is who he is. No, he's great. He's been good, and he's been super supportive of the program. He's always coming in and checking in and doing all those different things. So, it's good to have, role models like that in the department and different stuff to work alongside. So, he's a super positive guy, and it's been fun. And he was actually on my interviewing committee, so I have to say thank you a little bit to him for helping me get the job. So,
and who was on that committee besides Enrico?
Dr. Mary Jo Gunning, Julie Doherty, the new field hockey coach, and Enrico. That was the athletic staff that was in my small meeting, and then obviously campus wide people. But those are my three.
So, what can you say about Gabby Holko? What are your thoughts on Gabby, the now that she's gone through her first year as the head coach of Marywood women's basketball? What do you think about Gabby?
Oh, she's done a tremendous job. I think, she got those girls to buy in. I went to a bunch of the practices, to just kind of watch. She's got a great spirit about her, and she really pushes her young women, to be better, and she's very much like me. We're not going to lower our standards. Our standards are high, and we're going to reach those standards. It might take a little bit of time. There might be some bumps in the road, but we're going to reach them. And I think she did a tremendous job this season with the small number team and getting her girls to buy in and work hard. It was very fun to watch them. Since I came to, Marywood, I was at all their home games. I don't think I missed a home game. So it was fun to watch them grow throughout the season and the excitement when they won that conference game. I think that's so fun. And when a coach can share that with their players and that bond, it's just a good feeling. So I'm hopefully looking forward to very similar things throughout our season as well.
What do you think about Gabby Holko being a Duke fan?
Well, I'm a Florida Gator fan.
But you have some Cuse love, though. You have some Cuse love.
I do. I do have a lot of Cuse love. Actually, Emily Harris-Chuck was one of the stars on the women's team at Syracuse. Is one of my former players. But I don't know. Zion's so good. He's so good. I mean, he is as advertised. Like, he just smiles and he's enjoying playing. You know, I don't know. I went to school in North Carolina. I can't hate on Duke too much. But it's, you know what I like to see? I like when athletes are having fun, competing in a sport that they are. And that Duke team currently is doing that. There's a lot of smiles on that court. Coach K's got him into the same program. So I don't love Duke. I love to beat Duke, but I can't hate on them this year because, you know, they're enjoying being athletes. They're enjoying competing, and I think as a coach, that's the true spirit of the game. Is, you know, wins and losses are one thing, but if you're enjoying what you're doing as you're doing it is a huge thing. Now, winning is way more fun. Let me make that very clear. Winning is fun. Yeah. And it is fun to win. Yeah. But that enjoying and that smiling and like fun explosive plays and I don't know. That's kind of, those are, you know, big team plays. That's kind of what I live for. So let the madness begin. I'm on the Duke bandwagon right now. Florida's out. So I'd love a little Go Blue Duke in the Final Four, but we'll see.
Yeah, that coming from Kerrie Brown, Marywood women's lacrosse head coach. Kerrie, before we get into something that you have never played on this show before, but it's something we've done for years. I was just talking about it with Mike Sugamosto. Rapid fire, where I get to put you on the hot seat and ask you totally random questions, but in an effort to be fair, you get to do the same thing with me. So I have to ask you this before we get into all of that. If and when you've been interviewed before, I have to ask you, what do you think about, you know, some of the questions that come your way as a coach? Because typically interviewers are never allowing themselves to be interviewed. So what can you say about your interview experience in the past?
Oh, it's new to me. This is very new to me. So I'm pretty much an open book, you know, like, I mean, I don't know if I want to say that, but like, it is what it is. Like, you're going to ask the questions, I'm going to answer the questions. I think that's what makes, you know, the dialogue fun.
Do you feel like you're going to have some sarcasm and some comedy that'll come through, though, when you get asked certain things?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I got to make sure, yeah. I can't, well, it depends on the questions you ask. I mean, if you ask serious questions, I'm going to be serious. If you ask open-ended questions, I don't know what you're going to get. Like, we'll see. So.
That coming from Kerrie Brown. Kerrie, before we jump into rapid fire, just what you could say about your experience leading up to this being your first head coaching job, but what prepared you for this? What can you tell us about your road to get here?
So I worked under great tutelage from mentor Linda Michael. She owned a club lacrosse team up in Rochester, New York, Lady Rock Club, and she was a legendary high school field hockey and lacrosse coach. Her husband was an athletic director. Took the job at Brockport, and I went over there. Then we got the job at Fisher together. What an unbelievable woman that was able to calm my hot head, teach me how to portray my thoughts to young women, and to understand that they're still able. Women are athletes, so they can still be. You know, there's still a way that we're getting them to compete, and just because they're, you know, girls or women, they're athletes and they want to compete, and we have to express it. We have to give them the opportunity, but to not, you know, I've actually calmed down in my older age, which is insane to say, but she just really mentored me and developed me and showed me that it doesn't matter where the program was, it's where we're going. We took a team at Brockport that was the Bad News Bears the year prior, and then we lost the conference championship, went to the NCAAs 2 years in a row at Brockport, and then went over to Fisher, and they hadn't even made the Empire 8 tournament the year before, and now they're on 7 back-to-back Empire 8 championships. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how things are going. You just play for the moment, and you progress, and you work hard every day, and it prepares you for where you're going. So you just kind of keep those eyes. That's why eyes are in the front of your head. And she always told me that. She said, Kerrie, eyes are in the front of your head. Stay looking forward. Stay at those things. And And I couldn't thank her and her husband enough. He was an athletic director at a high school, so he would always give me those business savvy things, fundraising ways, those type of organizational management, sports organizations. So it was the best of both worlds. And I also worked, I worked in Division II right out of college at Pfeiffer University. I had the opportunity to go down to Mercer University, Division I, and you just realized that, what kind of student athletes I liked, and you just build and you put them all in your chapter book, and you just keep building it. And I'm excited to be in my Marywood chapter and be a head coach and make some of those big decisions, that I've been planning for the last 10 years, pretty much since I graduated college. So it's been exciting.
We talk about, and on this show, and I'm sure you heard earlier today, chasing things. People, people want to talk about what they're going to do, but when it comes to chasing the things that matter most, whether it's in your personal life or professional life or both, it's not an easy thing to do. Just what you could say about the chase, and like you said, preparing for 10 years, that chase to be a head coach. What made you never stop believing in yourself?
I think I had a really good support system, and I was able to coach a lot of very, very amazing young women, because I did get out of coaching, and I was just volunteering for the past year and a half at Fisher part-time because I had to go into the real world. I left a coaching job. I moved closer to my family to deal with, family stuff that was going on. So I moved back home. I left Georgia. I moved home, and I got out of coaching. But I never stopped coaching. I never stopped teaching. I never stopped doing private lessons because kids were always asking me. They're like, "Hey, Coach Kerrie, will you help with this? Hey, Coach Kerrie, will you help with that? Hey, Coach Kerrie." So I would just keep doing it and doing it. And then, in the middle of November, I got a phone call from a 2016 grad of Fisher, and she was like, "Kerrie, my very good friend is at Marywood. They don't have a coach right now." And I was like, "You know what, Christina, I don't know. I'm not sure. And she's like, "Well, I'm very sure. I'm very sure that you're capable of doing this. And I'm very sure that, Marywood needs you. And you're going to be the best thing." And I'm so grateful for all those athletes that I've impacted. And I think the relationships that I've built. And in this world, your wins and losses matter in the moment. But the relationships you build and those type of things are what lasts a lifetime. And I'm actually just walking around my house, and I'm looking at all my pictures that when I moved from home, I just pulled out of boxes of my Lady Rock kids, the Fisher girls, the Brockport girls, the Mercer girls, all these teams that have sent me a team picture, and they've signed it. And for a while, I was like, "Oh, those are just going to collect dust." But, I look at those, and each one of those teams has a story. And so I think that was why, and that was what the drive was what's the story that I'm going to create. And I'm so happy to be doing what I'm doing every day. I have the best job in the world. I don't care what anybody says. Coaching, sports, impacting youth, the best job in the world. I get to run around every day. Best job. Wouldn't change it for the world.
Coming from Kerrie Brown, the new head coach for Marywood women's lacrosse, and I don't think it gets better than that. Like what you just said, best job in the world to do that. And I would say the same thing with mine for the same reasons. I'm not a coach, but it's the best job in the world. I got to ask that question. When I did an event with West Genesee State Championship boys basketball team this week, they said, "What's your favorite thing about your job?" And I looked at them and I said, "You guys. It's about community. It's about bringing people together. It's about spreading positivity. It's about showing the world how many great people there are, and that hard work pays off, and that community is everything, and that it takes a village, and that you can accomplish anything with love. You can accomplish nothing with hate." It's just, it's everything. So whether you're a broadcaster or a coach in this crazy world we live in, I think that you can agree, Kerrie, that when it comes to bringing people together and having a collective and having people fight for what's right and do it the right way, when they succeed, it's the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
I love that. Definitely. I love that. All that stuff I said, Kerrie's response, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that's it. It's not hard.
Yeah.
It's not hard to be a good person. It's not hard. It's not hard to enjoy what you do. It's not hard to, bring your best to the table. You've got to you work at it and you work at it. But yeah, that's kind of, what the expectation is. And I truly believe that, that there's a plan in place.
Yeah.
Everybody has a plan in place, and if you just do your job in this world and you leave it, better than you were. I still have people texting me all the time from all different places, and they're like, "Coach, I saw you did this. Coach, I saw you did that." Like, thanks. You just shoot a quick text. I mean, the power of words is a quick text from somebody you haven't heard from in 6 months, 6 years. That's you just get it all of a sudden. You're like, oh my gosh, I made an impact. Like, what a great feeling for me, and like, how am I going to do it, in return? So, yeah, that's it. So, pretty simple.
Yeah, and it's absolutely amazing. So, that coming from Kerrie Brown, Marywood women's lacrosse head coach in her first season there and first season as a head coach. Before we let you go, it's time to play rapid fire. I'm going to give you 3. You're going to give me 3. I will ask you first. So, Miss Kerrie Brown, what is one thing in your childhood that you will never forget more than anything else? What's something that just kind of, whether it's like maybe a material thing that you keep with you in your house now, or it's a memory, what's something from your childhood that's top of mind?
All right, so I have a stuffed animal named Elsie, and she is a puff lump. She is no longer stuffed. She has traveled the world with me. I was the baby, and she was given to me by my parents at like 1 year old, and it was the only toy, stuffed animal, anything. I had an older sister, 18 months older than me. It was the only thing that like Keegan could never touch, have, possess. They couldn't take away from me. They couldn't do anything. Elsie was like my blankie, Elsie was, that was it. So I have a stuffed animal. She never leaves my side. When we go on road trips, she goes in my bag, and everybody that knows me knows I don't care. Every night. So Elsie is my thing. Nobody can take it from me. It's mine. It's only mine. I'm never sharing it. I don't care what you say.
And you said it's Elsie, like Larry Charles?
I guess as a child I might have spelled it Elsie. I don't know. I think it was named after, my parents named it after, because it looks like a cow when it was stuffed, I guess. I think after some dairy cow, I don't know if it was like Burn Dairy or Upstate, like they had a milk cow named Elsie, and so
yeah,
that's who they named it after. I don't know, but I'm not sure where the name comes from.
But I think it's funny because, again, in the craziness of how life is, I was working somewhere and I wanted to go home, and it was my mom's birthday, and I wanted to go home at the time and whatnot, and I said to my boss, I said, I have a leadership conference that I have to go to. And I don't lie, and I can't lie. So I wasn't supposed to be able to go home, and she gets me out of this thing, and she goes, all right, I had to go through a bunch of stuff. I had to talk to a bunch of people, but you're going to be able to go home. As soon as she told me I was going to be able to go home, I walked away, thought about it, walked back. I was like, you know what? I lied. I don't have a leadership conference. You can fire me if you want to, but I don't want to go home on a lie or anything like that. And so she, from that moment on, has called me LC, and she gave me an actual name tag that has that. So I just think that that's funny. So it's kind of brought it all back. So I have the same name as your stuffed animal. There you go. But for different reasons. For different reasons. My second question for you is, what is your favorite TV show of all time?
Favorite TV show of all time? Oh my gosh. Probably Hey Arnold.
Okay. Hey Arnold.
I think maybe Hey Arnold.
All right.
I don't know. I watch a ton of SportsCenter now that I'm older. But I can still watch Hey Arnold. I can still watch Boy Meets World. I can still watch Saved by the Bell. There was a show called Hang Time back in the day I liked.
Yeah, I remember that show.
It was like the basketball Saved by the Bell. But I think I literally can still watch Hey Arnold. I don't care. I've seen it a million times.
All right.
But
Hey Arnold.
I think that might be my favorite, yeah.
All right. My third and final question for you, Miss Kerrie Brown, is, what is the one song that you would play in your car every single second right now in this moment? What's the song that's like, it's got you, it's got your mind, you got to play it all the time?
Like a current song right now.
Well, whatever's in the car, right? Whatever your thing is.
All right, so I've done so many road trips by myself. So that Jason Derulo song, Riding Solo, Anytime I'm going to a recruiting trip, I'm on a road trip with my girls, like, I always play that song. Like, they just know. Or Nelly, Ride With Me. Like, those are my first two songs.
Okay.
But, hold on. The one song that right now is my favorite is, I think, Beautiful, Crazy. You know, Beautiful, Crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know who it's by. I think that's my favorite song currently.
Yeah, and you know what the funny thing is that I know that song very well because I never grew up listening to country, but now I do, and it's Luke Combs. Luke Combs sings the song.
Okay, yeah. I'm loving Luke Combs right now, and I love Kane Brown.
Yeah, Kane Brown is good too.
And he is, yeah. So I'm a huge country fan, but yeah, that's probably right now. That's my favorite because I just like getting it, and it just makes you feel good. It's good. So, yeah.
All right, fair enough. So what are your three for me?
What's your one thing you have to do every morning before you leave your house?
Oh, man. I always go back and I check on my dog. I give her a cookie, and I always go back and I put my hand in her kennel, and I always touch her nose, and I tell her that Daddy loves her.
Okay.
I always have to do that.
All-time favorite book?
Probably anything from Goosebumps. I love the way they smell. I love, like, the feel of it. I would probably say Monster Blood from Goosebumps.
Okay. And then, third. I had the first two I was, like, good with. Okay, if you had, like, a signature piece of clothing that, like, people know you by,
right,
what would it be?
Oh, man. I definitely have my own style, I'll say that much. If I had a signature piece of clothing, what would they... I gotta think. So, you know, I've been wearing a shirt... Go ahead. What are you going to say?
Okay. No, go ahead.
Well, I've been wearing this shirt, so I'm a Marvel fan, and I bought this shirt at New York Comic Con, not this past year, the year before, and the shirt says, "Are you human?" But if you turn off the lights, it says, "Are you inhuman?" Because, you know, human beings were tested on. The whole story about it, they were tested on by this alien race called the Kerrie, and they got special powers, and they're trying to eradicate and kill all these inhumans so you can only see them in secret. Well, I've been wearing this shirt lately in broad daylight because you can't really see the in front of human, and I've been wearing the shirt saying, "Are you human?" And I've kind of taken it upon myself to turn it into a very deep shirt and a deep message of asking people, are you being your best self, so to speak?
All right, I like it.
So that's kind of my thing right now. But yeah, so with that being said, final thing, Kerrie Brown, Marywood Giving Day is Thursday, March 28th. Why should they give to Marywood Women's Lacrosse?
Tomorrow, it's our big fundraiser for the year, and we're hashtagging High Diver Pie. So I was the original. I said if we got 100 donors, I would jump off the high dive on Friday night, right after our practice, going into a big weekend. Anybody can come that wants to come. I'm terrified of heights. I don't want to go off the high dive. But that was the one thing that I was like, girls, if I'm going to get in, if I'm going to buy in, you're going to buy in. So 100 donors or more, I'm going to walk up those steps, probably very slowly. I'm going to go right to the edge of the high dive at the Marywood pool. I'm right in the athletic center, and I'm going to jump right off. And then any donor that donates $100 or more to the Marywood Women's Lacrosse program will have the opportunity to pie me in the face after our senior tailgate on our senior day, April 13th. It's 2 weeks from Saturday, in front of anybody. So I said, hashtag High Diver Pie. You know, please donate. Please think about donating. The girls, it's going to go towards our spring break trip for next year. And it's just, you know, I think there's a buy-in for alumni and people that have been affected through college athletics and that have been able to play. Like, just don't go to Chipotle this week. You know, donate. Think about donating back. Think about giving back to what a great experience college athletics have provided to you, or that your college has provided to you. There's always some type of buy-in. I just think it's important that, you know, we give back, and we give back directly to things that mean a lot in our heart of hearts. So just reaching out. I'm super excited about it. You know, I got all the girls on board, families on board. We're in. So this is going to be a big day. Marywood Giving Day. Follow us at Marywood WLAX on Instagram. My assistant does a great job with our Instagram page. The link's all there, and donate to Marywood Women's Lacrosse.
Yeah, absolutely. Marywood Women's Lacrosse. You can donate Thursday, all day long, Thursday, March 28th. Give your donation to Marywood Women's Lacrosse. Calling all Marywood alumni, everybody connected to it. Even if you don't know Marywood, give back to this school. It is a tremendous school and a program run by Kerrie Brown, and just, the positives that you have there for women's lacrosse and all the good things that you do. Kerrie, it's the first time on the show, and we'll have many more after this. Thank you so much for being a part of it.
Thank you so much for your time. Go Pacers.
All right, take care. That coming from Kerrie Brown once again. Kerrie Brown, the women's lacrosse head coach at Marywood University, in her first season, won her first game that she had out there. Awesome story to tell.